have doubts about the king's integrity.
Some of the people here are very worried that if we go into a dialogue, the government or the regime will give us a deal and then we'll renege on the deal. They remember the 2001 when the National Charter was agreed in a referendum, only to find out that a year later, on 14th of February 2002, that the king also reneged on the promise of the National Charter. And so they're telling us they will trick you, they will trick you.
Hassan Mushema, head of the outlawed Hack political party, has been in and out of prison for years. He recently returned from the UK, is clearly respected by the people, and has chosen to boycott the talks. He knows the Al Khalifa family better than most, having dealt with them for over 40 years.
We met the king himself in London, and we sat together, we talked about the necessity of dialogue. And I told him, I said to him that we have rights, we have demands. Let us sit at the table, discuss everything, and then of course we'll cooperate together to build our country. But unfortunately, after that, when I came back home, they arrested me. See, what kind of people are these? Al Khalifa's or the regime is not believing of democracy, is not believing of human rights, is not believing of dialogue. So it's just they want to show the world that we have discussed and we have started, of course, the dialogue, which is not true. Some people in America and others, they believe them. They know it's not true, but they believe them. They say, okay, why don't you go to the dialogue? And there is no dialogue.
Down with the monarchy! Down with the monarchy!
On Monday, March 7th, protesters went to the US Embassy, well aware how much influence the Americans have with King Hamad. They say Washington's pro-monarchy approach is supporting the oppression.
Stop supporting dictators! Stop supporting dictators! Stop supporting dictators!
Embassy staff came out to listen to their views. But the US has praised King Hamad for his restraint in pulling back security forces. They said that he has earned the right to pursue a solution through dialogue. The protesters are determined to change Washington's mind. With the Americans taking a much tougher approach to Libya, Bahrainis are asking the question, why are there double standards over what should be done when a ruler is caught killing his unarmed citizens?
Muammar Gaddafi has lost legitimacy to lead, and he must leave. Those who perpetrate violence against the Libyan people will be held accountable. And the aspirations of the Libyan people for freedom, democracy, and dignity must be met.
I have a really important message to the world readers. Mr. Obama, especially to Mr. Obama, where is your support? Why are you supporting the call of dialogue? None of us is calling for dialogue. We have a clear message that we don't want this regime anymore. And if we are the majority, I think we deserve this change. They are calling al-Gaddafi as a killer of his people. I think al-Khalifa are more threatening to us.
This is a standoff between two equally entrenched sides. Both have so much to lose, they won't give in. So it seems that international pressure will be the deciding factor. The question is, which side will they back?
So what you'll do with the people who said, we are ready to die? You'll kill all of them? As I said, maybe before, the people were afraid. They don't want to go, to the jail or prison. They don't want to be injured or killed. But this time, really, the people, and especially the young people, they said, this time is something else.
Actually, I don't have faith in them. After the bloody Thursday, we don't want them anymore. At the first, we were asking for correction or making everything better, but now we don't want them. I think that open fire on his public, he don't deserve to be a king anymore.
يلا شباب يلا يلا شباب يلا. This is one of the victims. This is police and Al Khalifa They said they want dialogue. This is dialogue. Tell Khalifa and Hamad, this is dialogue. They are liar. They are not liar. They are killer. They should go away. No chance.
The protesters are marching on state-owned Bahrain TV, complaining about the biased coverage of their campaign. Abda Ali al-Singas, in his blood-soaked shirt, cradled a dying man in his arms. As a result, he's more desperate than most to keep people on the streets, to sustain pressure on the regime. The worry among protesters is that if dialogue is accepted, it will drag on. International attention will shift elsewhere, and in the meantime, those that spoke out will be targeted. And this isn't Egypt or Tunisia. Behind the bland exterior gate is a security force that is not minded to change sides. If the system doesn't change, and if past performance is anything to go by, these protesters, who have put their heads above the parapet to challenge their regime, will be in serious jeopardy.
Well, what would happen if this revolution didn't work? I think we're gonna be destroyed with all means. I think they're gonna target one by one. Whoever appeared on a camera, the thing is, we stand brave enough to call the whole world that we don't want this regime to be in power anymore. So I think they have enough evidence. Whoever speaks against them would be a target for them in the future. So I think it's going to be really dangerous. And I believe it's all about win or die.
And that's it for this edition of People in Power. If you'd like to comment on this film or anything else, then we'd love to hear from you on aljazeera.net/English. Until next time, goodbye.
Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter. Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter.
Mental disorders affect millions of Chinese citizens. But with a chronic lack of support, is this a social time bomb threatening to leave victims and broken families in its wake? 101 East, at this time.